Hare Krishna. Dear devotees, we will start our, you see today is 28th, 29th and 30th. 3 days of Kartik left and 3 very dear days of the year will soon pass away. Anyway, today will pass, only 29, 30. So let us do Namami Swaram Satchidananda Rupam Asat Kundalam Gokule Brajamanam. Jai Lakshmi Narasimha Bhagwan ki jai. Raj Krishna ki jai. Shri Radha Raman ji ki jai. Namami Swaram Satchidananda Rupam Asat Kundalam Gokule Brajamanam. Prasadabhiyalukaladhabamanam paramrustam atyanta tadrutya gopya. Jasadabhiyalukaladhabamanam paramrustam atyanta tadrutya gopya. You don't see the face of Mother Yashoda. No, it's not. Danta mohor netra yugmam rujantam karam bhuja yugmena satanka netram. Moho swasa kampatri rekanka kanta Sita graivam damodaram bhaktivadam. Krishna's face is not visible. Iti druksa Lila virananda kunde Sogosam nimmajantam akyapayantam. Radhila Sittage Subhakta Jitatam Puna Prematastam Satavriti Bande. Param Deva Moksham Va Mokshavadhim Va Nachanyam Brune Aham Vare Sadapiha. Idam Teba Purnata Gopalavalam Sada Me Manasya Virasam Kimane. Idam Te Mukham Bodham Atyanta Nilai Sutam Kuntalai Snekta Raktaisya Gopya. Ostam Vetam Vemba Rakta Dharam Me Nasya virasta malam lakyalavai. Namo Deva Damodara Ananta Vishnu Prasida Prabho Dukha Jalabdi Magnam. Rupadruste Vrustyate Dinam Vadano Ruhane Samam Magyam Vedyaki Dusya. Udairatmadau Vadam Udaivayadva Oyamachitau Bhakti Bhajau Krutau Cha. Tata prema bhaktim sakam prayacha namakse goho me sthidamodareha. Namaste Stodamne Spuradipti Damne Todi Adaraya Tha Vishwasya Damne. Namaste Stodamne Spuradipti Damne Todi Adaraya Tha Vishwasya Damne. Namo Radhikaya Ito Diyo Priyaya Namo Ananta Lilaya Devaya Tubhyam. Namami Swaram Satchidananda Rupam Lasat Kundalam Gokule Brajamanam. Yasadabhiyalukaladavamanam Param Rustam Atyanta Chakso Gurtya Gopya. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Jaya Shri Radhe. Shri Shri Radha Damodar ki, Shri Yashoda Shri Yashoda Krishna ki, Kartik Mans ki, Gaur Pramanande. To the Supreme Lord, who is the embodiment of spiritual in total existence, knowledge and bliss, whose sacks-up earrings are swinging to and fro, who is beautifully signing the divine realm of Gokula, who, due to the offense of breaking the pot of yogurt that his mother was churning into butter, and then stealing the butter that was kept hanging from a swing, is quickly running from the wooden grinding motor in fear of Mother Yashoda, but who has been caught from behind by her who ran after him with greater speed to that Supreme Lord Sri Damodar. Offer my humble obeisances. Please read the next.
Seeing the whipping stick in his mother's hand, he is crying and rubbing his eyes again and again with his two lotus hands. His eyes are filled with fear, and the necklace of pearls around his neck, which is marked with 3 lines like a conch shell, is shaking because of his quick breathing due to crying. To this Supreme Lord Sri Damodara, whose belly is bound not with ropes but with his mother's pure love, I offer my humble obeisance.
Thank you. Next.
By such childhood pastimes as this, he is drowning the inhabitants of Gokul in pools of ecstasy, and is revealing to those devotees who are absorbed in knowledge of his supreme majesty and opulence that he is only conquered by devotees whose pure love is imbued with intimacy and is free from all conceptions of awe and reverence. With great love, I again offer my obeisances to Lord Damodar hundreds and hundreds of times.
Next.
O Lord, although you are able to give all kinds of benedictions, I do not pray for the boon of impersonal liberation, or the highest liberation of eternal life in Vaikuntha, nor any other boon which may be obtained by executing the 9 courses of bhakti. O Lord, I simply give that this form of love as Father and Father in Vrindavan may ever be manifest in my heart, for it is the use to me for any other boon besides this.
O Lord, your lotus face, which is encircled by locks of soft black hair, tinged with red, is kissed again and again by Mother Yashoda, and your lips are reddish like the bimba fruit. May this beautiful vision of your lotus face be ever manifest in my heart. Thousands and thousands of other benedictions are of no use to me.
Next.
O Supreme Godhead, I offer my obeisance unto you, O Damodara, O Ananta, O Vishnu, O Master, O my Lord. Be pleased upon me by showering your glance of mercy upon me. Deliver this poor ignorant fool who is immersed in an ocean of worldly sorrow and become visible to my eyes.
Hare Krishna. O Lord Damodara, just as the 2 sons of Kuvera Manigriva and Nalakuvara were delivered from the curse of Narada and made into great devotees by you in your form as a baby, tied with rope to a wooden grinding mortar, in the same way, please give to me your own Prema Bhakti. I only long for this and have no desire for any kind of liberation. Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much. Next.
Hare Krishna.
पढ़िए.
O Lord Damodar, I first of all offer my obeisances to brilliantly effulgent rope which binds your belly. I then offer my obeisances to your belly, which is the abode of the entire universe. I humbly bow down to your most beloved Srimati Radharani, and I offer all obeisances to you, the Supreme Lord, who displays unlimited pastimes. Hare Krishna.
Sri Sri Damodarastakam Ki
Jai.
Tava Kathamrutam Tapta Jivanam Kavi Viriditam Kalmasapaham Sravana Mangalam Srimadatam Bhuvi Grunanti Ye Bhurida Jana. The nectar of your words and the description of your activities are the life and soul of those suffering in this material world. These narrations, transmitted by learned sages, eradicate one's sinful reactions and bestow good fortune upon whoever hears them. These narrations are broadcast all over the world and are filled with spiritual power. Certainly those who spread the message of Godhead are most munificent. Okay, so let us start our we discussed yesterday, and we concluded with, finally, you have now returned to your unlimited form as the Supreme Absolute Truth, one without a second. So that is when Brahmaji was shown special mercy, Kṛṣṇa manifested to Brahma his expansions, who were cowherd boys and calves, taking the form of 400 Narayana, and each form is being worshipped by millions and trillions of devotees, each one exhibiting one complete universal structure. And now when Kṛṣṇa is wandering, the Yogamaya curtain was over and Kṛṣṇa started searching for the cowherd boys and calves as his yogurt rice is spilling from his hand. Brahmaji is saying, now you have returned to your unlimited form as a Supreme Absolute Truth. So that is that Kṛṣṇa who is performing his pastime in Braj. Brahmaji is saying, he is the original personality of Godhead. Now let us continue. Ajanatam tvat padavim anatmani atmatmanavasi vitatya mayam srustavaivaham jagato vidhana eva tame santaiva trinetra. To persons ignorant of your actual transcendental position, you appear as part of the material world, manifesting yourself by expansion of your inconceivable energy. So when Krishna is stealing butter, Krishna is Krishna is searching for cowherd boys and calves. Krishna is dancing to the tune or whims of the cowherd ladies. When he steals butter, it looks like he's an ordinary person to ignorant fools. That's what Brahma is saying. But whatever Krishna is doing, that is actually being done by his inconceivable potency. Thus, for the creation of the universe, you appear as me, Brahma. For its maintenance, you appear as yourself, Vishnu. For its annihilation, you appear as Lord Trinatra, Lord Shiva. So Brahma is saying that although ordinary people, avajananti ma mudha manushil paramasrita. So when they see Krishna is a mere chariot driver for Arjuna, when they see that arrows are piercing the body of Krishna as Bhishmadev aimed at Krishna, aimed at Arjuna. So it appears he's like an ordinary person. But Brahmaji is not agreeing. He's saying, everything is happening by your inconceivable potency. In fact, I'm one of the Guna Avatara in charge of passion. Lord Shiva is second Guna Avatara. He is in charge of ignorance. And you yourself as Vishnu is the third Guna Avatara. Suresh Tathaiva Nursopi Tiryakhyu Yadaswapi Tejanasya Janma Satam Dharmada Nigrahaya Prabhu Vidata Sadanugrahaya Cha. Very difficult Sanskrit. O Lord, O Supreme Creator and Master, you have no material birth, yet to defeat the false pride of the faithless demons and show mercy to your saintly devotees, you take birth among demigods such as human beings, animals, and even aquatics. So this is the same thing. Yada yada hi dharmasya glani bhavati bharata. Avyuthanam adharmasya tadapmanam srijamyaham. Paritranaya sadhunam vinasaya cha duskrutam dharma sansthapanarthaya sambhavami yuge yuge. So exactly said. This kind of also statement is there in the Caitanya Bhagavata when Vrindavan Das Thakur starts narrating Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu's advent. Koveti bhuman bhagavan paratman yogiswarotir bhavatas trilokyam kova katham va ti vistarayan kridasi yogamayam. O Supreme Great One, O Supreme Personality, so Master of all mystic power, your pastimes are taking place continuously in these three worlds. But who can estimate where, how, and when you are employing your spiritual energy and performing these innumerable pastimes? No one can understand the mystery of how your spiritual energy acts. Okay? So this is, I was always thinking, suppose Krishna vanished from here, he is performing in some other universe, right? But here Brahma is making very important statement, saying in this very universe, Krishna's pastimes are taking place continuously. That is amazing. This is absolutely amazing. You see, your pastimes are taking place continuously in these three worlds. But who can estimate where, how, and when you are employing your spiritual energy and performing this innumerable pastime? Because whatever Krishna performs, because Krishna said in the previous verse, he appears as demigods, sages, human being, animals, even the aquatics. So Krishna performed pastimes in this earthly planet when sad-gosvamis were there. Of course, when Caitanya Mahaprabhu was there, when sad-gosvamis were there. And subsequently other acharyas were there. And then recently Srila Prabhupada, when he distributed Krsna Consciousness all over the world, Krishna's pastimes again manifested. So we can never limit Krishna's pastime. This continuously happening. I remember in 1993-94, somebody asked, how old is Krishna Conscious movement? I said, it is eternity. It is always there. Then he's saying, no. Your ISKCON, your International Society of Krishna Consciousness, how old it is? I said, it is eternal. It has no time. Okay? And still he could not understand. He asked me third time. I said, sir, I'm repeating the same thing. Our Krishna conscious movement is timeless. Don't put a mundane time to something that is eternal. And this is exactly what Brahmaji wants to mean. Okay? Every time, somewhere or other, Krishna is revealing himself. Tasmadidam jagadase samasata sorupam swapnabhamastadishanam puru dukkha dukkham tvayeva nitya sukhavodhatana vanante maya todyadapi yatsad iva bhavati. Therefore, this entire universe, which is like a dream, is by nature unreal. Dream. Every night I see dream. I have never realized that such a night has not come when I have not seen a dream. And there are times I never realized that I was seeing dream. When the day I reached Dehradun this time, I went to bed around 10 o'clock in the night or 10:30. And I got up at 3 o'clock or so. Some nice dream was there. I got up 3 o'clock. Before 3 o'clock, 2 something. So I started reading Bhagavad Gita. I said that now I must start preparing for my next series, comprehensive. So I read verse-wise, entire Prabhupada book, 15 chapter verse-wise, I read all the meaning. So, dream we are all seeing. We are all seeing the dream. But if dream is related to Krishna, that becomes real. And the world is also like a dream, like Brahma is saying. But that dream is connected to Krishna, becomes real. This is amazing. Like all those who did all these decorations every day in this Damodar month. This is real. One should never feel dejected, oh, I wasted so much of time. Now, this is the only thing that is real. Everything else you are doing is only nonsense. I remember there are many complaints, nowadays, not nowadays, but many of your colleagues, peers, from Ravi Prakash to others, they say, sir, ये Saturday program बहुत देर तक जाता है, and people are getting what they're feeling it's a long program, and hence when we call them second time, they don't come. My answer to that is that 3 hours they stayed, that is the best thing that happened to them. When we started our Kṛṣna Consciousness journey, we wanted to be in the temple 24 hours. We never wanted to leave. एक सर्विस करो, फिर दूसरा सर्विस, तीसरा सर्विस. So, this very idea that whatever we are doing is something wonderful, fruitful, is nonsense. This entire universe, which like a dream, is by nature unreal. Unreal. That is why I have a now plan that I will take to this Kṛṣna consciousness to ruffians. You understand what is ruffians? Those who are doing nothing and creating nuisance in this world. So like Prabhupada started this movement through hippies. And I know those who are like those who are in IIT, all the students, after some time they are fatigued because they are in danger of submitting their thesis or in exam or something. And this something will never vanish. They'll keep coming all the time. So they are all busy fellows. So although we waste so much of time after them, finally output result is big zero. But these politicians, they use all these ruffians for their own purpose. Why can't we use them in Krishna's service? They have nothing to do. They have nothing to lose. And there are thousands of such ruffians wandering on the street. They have nothing to do. They don't know what to do. They are neither educated, nor they are cultured. So I would like you people to think, how can we bring ruffians into the fold of Krishna? And they will become the great soldier of Krishna. I am now fully convinced this is completely waste of staying. Those who want to continue their spiritual life within the setup of IIT or any other professional world, is fine, that is something. But by that, revolution will not take place. You can't create a big revolution. Prabhupada's all disciples, they created a big revolution because they were not dreaming anything in this world. None of them, they were craving that I will become a doctor or an engineer or this or that. No. Anybody who craves to become or accept some important position in this world, they are good for nothing anyway. We are seeing that. We are seeing. So we have to now somehow or other bring ruffians into the fold of Kṛṣna consciousness. Therefore, this entire universe, which like a dream is by nature unreal, nevertheless appears real. And thus it covers one's consciousness and assails one with repeated miseries. This universe appears real because it is manifested by the potency of illusion emanating from you, whose unlimited transcendental forms are full of eternal happiness and knowledge. So, Brahma is saying this universe is like a dream. That means unreal, but appears real. And although it appears real, and it appears, not only it appears real, it covers one consciousness and assails one with repeated miseries. We think we are suffering. It is our foolishness to think that we are suffering. An idiot thinks he is suffering. Now I was telling, we don't even feel suffering. So these are the things that has to be understood very, very scientifically. Anybody who is in passion and ignorance is certainly suffering. Okay? And Brahma is saying, why this universe appears real? Because it is manifested by the potency of illusion emanated by you. Because Krishna's illusory potency is real. Whose unlimited transcendental forms are full of eternal happiness and knowledge. So, Brahmaji is giving a contrast. He's saying this world is unreal. And here, everybody appears to be suffering. In contrast, in a spiritual energy, he manifested unlimited transcendental forms, and that realm is full of happiness and knowledge. So wherever devotees get together and they start talking about Krishna, immediately that place becomes like Vaikuntha. Immediately that place becomes like Vaikuntha. Wherever devotees come, they dance, they sing, they partake in prasadam, that place feels like Vaikuntha. Just like we are sitting in our temple room. In front there is a nursing there, Lakshmi nursing there is Giriraj, there is Radharamanju, there are Saligram, Kurma Sila, Matsya Sila, Narayana Sila, and Sudarshan Sila. These are extremely powerful, highly spiritual. And then there is Radha, Damodar, Yashoda, Krishna, with nice decoration, Tulsi Maharani, all these wonderful paintings of Krishna. Complete spiritual. Okay? Ekastvamatma Purusa Purana Satya Swayam Jyotiranantadya Nityakshara Sukho Niranjana Pura Purna Dvaya Mukta Upadita Amrita. You are one supreme soul, the primeval supreme personality, the absolute truth, self-manifested, endless and beginningless. You, Krishna, although you appear to be a small, very small, tiny boy, helpless boy, but you are the same absolute truth who has neither end nor beginning. So this is inconceivable. Inconceivable. What is inconceivable? That which has no beginning and no end. And appears like a small boy with a morsel of food in his hand, searching for calves and cowherd boys. How is it possible? That same thing, which is without beginning, without end, also can manifest. This is inconceivable. Because we apply jnane prayasam udapasya. Because we are applying our logic, material logic, we are able to. By using logic, you cannot understand this. This can be only understood by special grace of Krishna and Guru. You are eternal and infallible, perfect and complete, without any rival, and free from all material designations. Your happiness can never be obstructed, nor have you any connection with material contamination. Indeed, you are the indestructible nectar of immortality. Suppose I'm a devotee, I'm a student. I failed in exam. Will I be happy? If I'm happy, then I don't have to appear in the exam. Are you able to follow? If you are actually a devotee, naturally devotee, why have to study? You don't have to study. समझ में आ रही नहीं? So, but you are practicing as a devotee, and you are a student, and you have failed. Will you be happy? No. You are a practicing devotee, and you are a businessman, and you are incurring a huge loss. Huge loss. Like, yesterday, somebody told me that some canteens have started opening. Say, cafe, what is that tea cafe? Cafe Coffee Day. CCD has opened. And the point here is that CCD owner, that fellow has committed suicide. He built a company. The CCD, I was telling to this person who was telling that this has opened, I said, that fellow, the owner, is dead. And his creation is what? CCD. And people go there to become happy. How is it possible? समझ में आ रहा है कि नहीं? नहीं समझ में नहीं आया. CCD की ओनर जो है वो सुसाइड कर दिया. समझ में आ रहा है कि नहीं? And still CCD is open, and people are still thinking if they go to CCD, they'll become happy. How is it possible? It's not possible. But nothing can obstruct Krishna's unhappiness. Krishna's happiness. Krishna is always happy. He says, your happiness can never be obstructed, nor have you any connection with material contamination. Indeed, you are the indestructible nectar of immortality. Anandamayo bhyasat. Krishna is only Ananda. Satchit Ananda. Like Prabhupada, when he was preaching Kṛṣna consciousness, every day he will receive thousands of problems. But he maintained his tranquility, peace all the time. And it is good when you preach Kṛṣna consciousness. If you are we are always troubled by problems. It is good because then we will always take shelter of Krishna. That process of taking shelter of Krishna will keep us happy within. Don't show your back to Krishna. उस तरफ जाओ. Beautiful. I wanted to tell you yesterday. Same thing, right? That there are devotees. What was the point I was telling? Derail us from our bhakti? What is that I wanted to speak yesterday? Can somebody tell me?
Real life test with Krishna Prabhu, sir. Sir, you told that you will tell about real life tests that Krishna
puts in the life of devotee. That I said?
Yes, sir.
Yes
So
or no?
you will give examples of such.
Examples of what? That the devotees in a test that will derail the devotees, or test that devotees pass?
A derailed
No,
devotee,
derailment.
Real life situations
Talked
that
about
can puzzle
that can derail someone.
that can derail and puzzle us. Real life situations that can derail and puzzle
Real life situation that can really puzzle us. I was giving just now, right? There is a devotee in Hamburg. I'm forgetting his name. Gopal Hari. I'm forgetting. Proper disciple. And those days in Prabhupada time, everybody lived in temple. Everybody lived in temple. Once in New York temple, there were 200 brahmacharis. your temple, there are 200, more than 200 brahmacharis. What an opulence Prabhupada created is amazing. It's amazing. And so, what happened is that, so he was a brahmachari in the beginning. And after some time he got married. And he has to go through very difficult time because he had nothing to, because once you get married means you have to, because our ISKCON temple is not, ISKCON, at least in India, still our temple provides some allowance to us. But outside, our temples are simply surviving on the book distribution. It's very difficult to survive. And this person, he got married and he had children, not only 1, 2, 3, 4, continued. I think he has a lot of children, 9, 10, 12 children. And he went through tortuous time. But suddenly something happened. He entered into some cycle business or something. This two-wheeler cycle. And from rags to riches story. He became so wealthy to BBT, he will contribute every month without his name. Sometime 5,000 Deutsche Mark, sometime 10,000 Deutsche Mark. And BBT is thinking, who is giving this money? They could not figure out. And then after a lot of search, they found this person is giving money. And he was giving money generously, very generously, to all devotees and everyone. But he has gone through the suffering of his life. And see, you have no earning source and you get married, and in Kṛṣna consciousness, you cannot use, what is it called? This modern method of, what do you say? What is the English term? That you can engage in sex, but you don't want to have children. Contraceptives. The devotees, they don't use contraceptive. Okay? So they have nothing to sustain. They don't use contraceptive. So they have children after children after children. And going on. And suffering. And suddenly, you see, right? So this is, people don't realize that Kṛṣna really is the boss. We are not the boss. When we try to control, we suffer. We try to control, we suffer. We make a plan, by this way I'll become happy. No. None of us we can become happy by our own plan. Our happiness is in making Kṛṣna happy. Every day as a devotee, we must ask this question. Did I do better service today compared to yesterday? I must learn how to compete with myself, not others. Did I learn some more verses today? Every day I have to ask this question. What did I do? In COVID, people are not traveling. I have already gone to Dehradun 3 times. Ranchi 1 time. Now again I am going on 3rd Dehradun. Again after come back, again I'll go to Ranchi. Why I am doing it is not that I am great. I'm doing because I'm dreaming something for Krishna, and somebody says, there is a hope, go. So I'm going. It is better to, even if they are not happening, to pursue anything for Krishna is good. When you pursue anything for Krishna, if I don't pursue anything for Krishna, what I will do? I would have used all my time to pursue something nonsense for myself. Yes or no? So this point we have to realize. Okay. Did we read text 24? Evam vidham tvam sakalatmanamapi swatmanamatma mataya vichakshate gurvarka labdhopanishad suchakshusa yete tarantiva bhavan brutam buddham buddhim. Those who have received the clear vision of knowledge from the sun like spiritual master can see you in this way as the very soul of all souls, the super soul of everyone's own self. Thus, understanding your original personality, they're able to cross over the ocean of illusory material existence. I have already made a plan that in Dehradun in December, I am going to go to different parts of Uttarakhand. Scan the areas, entire area. So, anybody who is able to understand Krishna as he is, Brahma is saying, they only can cross over this ocean of ignorance. We need to understand everything that we are doing, if it has no connection to Krishna and Guru, that is simply useless. Brahma is saying, by receiving the grace of Guru and Krishna, we will be qualified to understand Krishna as he is. And once we understand Krishna as he is, then only we'll be able to cross the ocean of ignorance. So, this is Mayank Madhusudan Mukund. He was sleeping. I have to chastise him. That Gita Jayanti is coming, where is the quiz? It was decided in July itself, July or August, whenever Krishna Nusilanam started, that the Gita's quiz will be done during Gita Jayanti. And they are all sleeping. So I have to push. Now suddenly they woke up, and still Suvendu was missing today in the meeting. Unless we push, Krishna consciousness will not go. That will not progress. Because everybody is suffering from lethargy and laziness and sleep and indolence. How many words I said? Lethargy, laziness, sleep, and indolence. Anybody can say who is not suffering from this four? Eh? We are all suffering, including myself. The difference between you and me is that I understand it, so I become active. That's the only difference. Eh? Prabhupada was never sitting idle. Every moment he has a dream for Krishna. Anyway, we are living a life of dream, yes or no? So why not always live a life of dream for Krishna? Even if I am always a failure, no problem. No problem. You know this or not? If you have a dream for Krishna, even if it is not realized, still it is real. That is the beauty. Whereas Narada Muni is saying that even if you become successful in your material dream, it's big naught, big zero. And the opposite is true. You make a spiritual dream on behalf of Krishna. You don't realize it, but it is full of success because you have pursued that dream. Atmanam evatma taya vijanatam teneva jatam nikhilam prapanchitam jnanena bhuyopi chatat praliyate rajvam aher bhogava vabhavau yatha. A person who mistakes a rope for a snake becomes fearful, but he then gives up his fear upon realizing the so-called snake does not exist. How many of you have gone through this experience? Only one person, 2%. Eh? Then the others are so unreal. Eh? Many times in this campus, when I cycle in the night time and I see something, like a stick or something, there is a feeling of snake. Why? And I have analyzed this. I know that I have a fear within me for snake. Okay. Whenever in the night time also, I go around this room, this house also, I have a fear for snake because there are snakes around. The fear for snake is there. When I was 5-year-old, and we were staying in a rented house, my father. And so every day, one cobra would come and do hissing in the middle of the night. And we were small kid, we were sleeping, and my mother would be crying, where is the snake? And one day my father was not there, and again the hissing sound came. So my mother cried, and the neighbor came, and the neighbor went to the colony and called and compounder, and one of the colleague of my father. He came with just this big lathi. And they searched throughout the house, where is this hissing sound is coming? Right? And finally, they searched, they were not finding, the compounder was going away. And then he saw the entrance of our house, this snake was trying to get down. So then he killed that cobra. And I remember that snake might have frightened our whole family. For almost how many days, I don't know. My mother would be able to tell. So, we have so many kinds of fear, and people say we don't have fear. Shocking, isn't it? Everybody nowadays have a fear of job loss, particularly the COVID pandemic can make you a jobless, can make you jobless. It has made so many people jobless. Right? So the point here is we have to understand that this material world is full of, we have so varieties of fear. Like in Germany, all young fellows, they had a fear of marrying. You know why? Because if you marry in Germany, the laws are very tilted in support of the ladies. So people are frightened. People are completely frightened. Why should I enter? They will enjoy illicit sex, but they don't want to marry. Or our government is thinking, we have done a great job by making a law. So what that resulted in German, because people are not getting married. So once you don't get married, what will happen? You have no children. So German population, their native population is decreasing, and Turkish, whom Germans took them to their country as slaves, their population is increasing. So this material world is always full of fear. Full of fear. So whenever we realize this is not a snake, you feel very peaceful, right? Similarly, for those who fail to recognize you as Kṛṣṇa, the supreme soul of all souls, the expansive, illusory material existence arises. Knowledge of you at once causes it to subside. So if you have Kṛṣṇa within you, you are always thinking of Kṛṣṇa, then such kind of fears will not attack you. But otherwise, one day I was contemplating, which fear I don't have. Then I realized I have so many fears. But why I am not attacked by those fears? Because I am engaged in Krishna's service. Every time I am making some plan for Krishna. If I don't do that, then my life will be impossible. It is a fact. It is a fact. Wherever you go, like recently, my colleagues, they invited me to speak to all executives in Nalco, in Odisha. So my friend who is working there, so before he talked to me, he told about this invitation. So I asked him how things are. And he was saying, simple peer pressure makes all of them. Once you go and live under one roof, okay, like here in IIT Kanpur, we are one campus. So many varieties of people have to live together. So there are bound to be tension, stress. Just like two people, when they get married, to live under one roof is not so easy. You may live for 1 day or 2 days very happily, but third day will surely be a day of struggle, for sure. So when so many people live under one roof, but they don't know who is Krishna, life is impossible, absolutely impossible. Life, we are able to continue. Once I was telling how my life is continuing, just because I'm still sticking to Krishna. If this Kṛṣna consciousness would not have been there with me, I was thinking how? How we would have continued. What is that? Yadi garna hoita, tabe ki hoita, ke mane dharitam de. So if Krishna is not there, Gauranga Mahaprabhu is not there, Srila Prabhupada is not there, devotees are not there, how can we possibly sustain our life? You cannot say by your material research you can sustain your life. By your wealth you can sustain your life. By your bank balance you can sustain your life. No, doesn't work. Doesn't work. So we must bring Krishna into the center of our life, so that we can be freed from all kinds of fear that make our life almost impossible. Ajnana sangyao bhavavanda moksho dau namananyao starutagya bhavahat ajastra siddhi atmani kevala pare vicharyamane taranao ivani. The conception of material bondage and the conception of liberation are both manifestation of ignorance. Wow. Why conception of material bondage and conception of liberation are both manifestation of ignorance? Why? Conception of bondage, you understand. That is not difficult, right? Material bondage. Material bondage. Why we are bound to materialistic life? Because of our own passion and ignorance. That's very easy to understand, that it is because of our own ignorance. We don't know goal of human life, and that is why it is ignorance, right? We are suffering the material bondage. We are going through the material bondage, life after life. Can you imagine? Here is Abhishek Jaiswal and dancing. If I'm doing PhD in IIT, Kanpur. And next life you see, the same Abhishek Jaiswal is dancing as an ant. How many of you have meditated like this? Let me tell you, I have meditated a lot like this. A lot. How many of you meditate like this? You don't. You don't. Or imagine, Abhishek Jaiswal would be dancing like a dog in the streets of Nagaland. What will happen? Anupam Shukla was telling, one Nagaland fellow was studying in IIITM Gwalior, and in one night he killed a dog and ate. This is Nagaland fellow. What kind of crime you must have done to be born as a dog in Nagaland? Or to be born as a cow in Western countries? Yeah. But conception of liberation is also out of ignorance. Why? Because the so-called concept of liberation is the notion of ajadi. I'll be liberated. But what kind of liberation you will have? You are either the instrument of Kṛṣṇa or you are the instrument of his Maya. There is nothing called liberation. You are natural instrument of Kṛṣṇa. I need to become that which I am. So liberation is something artificial. Whereas service to Kṛṣṇa is natural. And being outside the scope of true knowledge, they cease to exist when one correctly understands that the pure spirit soul is distinct from matter and always fully conscious. At that time, bondage and liberation no longer have any significance, just as a day and night have no significance from the perspective of the sun. Are you able to follow? Very, very significant point. Let me read again. Being outside the scope of true knowledge, they cease to exist when one correctly understands that pure spirit soul is distinct from matter and always fully conscious. At that time, bondage and liberation no longer have any significance. In liberation, you are trying to become something. In bondage also, you are trying to become something. Just as day and night have no significance from the perspective of the sun. It is not that because it is day, there is sun, and because there is night, there is no sun. Wrong. Okay? It is not that it is because day you feel liberated, and night it is you are in bondage. Nonsense. If Kṛṣṇa accepts you, there you go. Why Kṛṣṇa will not accept you? The first section, first 8 verses. A devotee must be determined to please Kṛṣṇa. Because that is our natural state. Natural state. So, bondage and liberation no longer have any significance when I am naturally Kṛṣṇa conscious. Narayana prasarve na kutasana vidyati. Swarga apavarga narakesu apitulyartha darshina. Swarga apavarga. You send a devotee to heavenly planet. He will preach there. Same thing. Many times I think, why I'm struggling for this and that and that. Why not simply chant my rounds and be happy? Many times I think. But then I see what Prabhupada did. I said that's what he was doing. Wherever Prabhupada will go, he will do the same thing. Even if you go to heaven, there also a devotee will try to establish a preaching center. You send him in Narka, hell. Atala, Patala, Sutala, Talatala, Rasatala. There also, he will set up a preaching center. That is what is devotee. Wherever we go, we'll set up a preaching center. That is why you cannot frighten a devotee. Once Janak Maharaj was having a outer, interplanetary travel, and suddenly he stopped near Narka, hell. Then Yamaraj came to know that Janak Maharaj is nearby. So he came out and saw he's there. He said, "Why did you come here? Nobody visits us." Nobody visits us in this hell. Nobody visits. But why are? And because Janak Maharaj stayed there for some time, all those who are suffering from the hell, they felt so much of relief. So much of relief. Because wherever devotee goes, he takes Kṛṣṇa with him. And Kṛṣṇa means all of spaciousness, purity. Purity is the force. One more verse we'll do. What time it is? 37. Tvam atmanam param matva paramatmanam evacha atma punar vahir mrugya ahogya janata jnata. Just see the foolishness of those ignorant persons who consider you to be some separated manifestation of illusion, and who consider the self, which is actually you, to be something else, the material body. Such fools conclude that the Supreme Soul is to be searched for somewhere outside your Supreme Personality. So even during Krishna's time, many thought Kṛṣṇa is an ordinary person. In fact, majority thought. Those who accepted Kṛṣṇa as super soul or the absolute truth or Bhagavan, their number was even very few at that time. So in that context, what Brahma is saying is very interesting. He's saying, such fools conclude that the Supreme Soul is to be searched for somewhere outside your Supreme Personality. Can anybody give the example? One pastime? सबको खड़ा कर दो ना. Anybody in the chat? Online, anybody would say? In the temple, everybody is a big flop. Yeah.
Sir, can you repeat the question? Example for what?
It says, such fools conclude that Supreme Soul is to be searched for somewhere outside your Supreme Personality. I am asking the question, tell me the Kṛṣṇa Lila, during Krishna's time, some Lila happened, exactly this happened. Such fools conclude that the Supreme Soul is to be searched for somewhere outside your Supreme Personality.
So Brahmanas performing yajna.
Who is saying that?
Amrut Panda, sir.
I know this Panda can become a good devotee, but he's an idiot. He's a victim of his own passion and ignorance. He told the right thing. Jaya Deja Patni Jaya Naga Kanya Gana Bhakti Teja Hara Pailo Govinda Charana. So, these Brahmanas, they were searching for absolute truth somewhere else. So when Krishna sent, there is beautiful description about this in what is that? Anand Vrindavan Champu. This description is even more detail is there. So the Krishna and Balram, actually Krishna and Balram were in a forest where the Brahmanas very near to that forest, Brahmanas were performing yajna for the satisfaction of Vishnu. Right? And the cowherd boys, they said, we are feeling hungry. Oh, you are really feeling hungry? So immediately Krishna sent some of the cowherd boys, go. The Brahmanas are performing yajna, so varieties of food stuff would be there. And please tell that Krishna and Balaram are hungry, please give. Immediately Brahmanas become angry. You are making everything polluted. And the Krishna's friends, they came very dejected because they were feeling anyway very hungry. So Krishna said, go, ask their wives. And wives, that is an elaboration. I think that this particular pastime, in this context, I must discuss. Today is already late. We'll stop here, but this pastime, I'll discuss a little more. And there is varieties of ways how Brahmanas brought varieties of food stuff. The Brahmin wives, Brahmana wives, they brought varieties of food stuff. How they brought this description detail is there. Some bound because they don't know how to bring it. कोई कपड़ा में लेके आया, कोई मटका में लेके आया, कोई पत्ते में लेके आया, and they wanted to see Krishna. So they didn't simply give to the kids who the cowherd boys. चलो चलो हम आ रहे हैं, हम खिलाएंगे सबको. So exactly this pastime represents this point. And there are so many yogis and they are doing, but they don't understand who is Krishna. But we understand who is Krishna, even if we don't understand in a sense that we have not developed our spiritual senses. But we understand by our adherence to Srila Prabhupada and to Guru Parampara. As long as our adherence is pakka to Guru Parampara, our understanding is also pakka. We should not have any doubt. Okay? So we should stop here. We could only go up to 27 verse number, and we have still more tomorrow we'll cover. Thank you very much everyone for joining this wonderful prayer of Brahmaji. So nice. If any questions are there, somebody can show, we can take a few questions. Anmol Avasti, how exactly is Sri Rudra involved in partial or complete annihilation of material universes? Lord Shiva, you asked a technical question, I have forgotten now. Actually, I had read in detail sometime how this happens. Actually, Lord Shiva is in charge of ignorance, so he annihilates. He is the principle of annihilation. But if you see, your question is that how this universe gets annihilated. In somewhere I have read that Ananta Sesa, you know that Ananta Sesa, on his hood, this universe is resting like a mustard seed. And the fire comes out of his hoods whenever annihilation time comes, and then it consumes the entire universe. Okay. But the Lord Rudra annihilation principle is like this. Everything, when it has to be created, that potency, creative potency, comes from Brahma. And then everything that sustains for some time, that potency comes from Vishnu. And then everything would dwindle. That dwindling process, that potency is coming from Lord Shiva. That is my understanding. But I have, it also says, during Pralaya time, Lord Shiva makes a dance by which, his dance when resonates, that means his rhythm resonates with the universal rhythm, then it collapses. So it's a very complicated thing, Anmol Avasti, you asked me. And you remind me sometime, maybe I will do some research and write a paper on this, an article. But as of now, I can only give this much to you. Next. Chiranjit Roy. How can we understand that when Srila Prabhupada movement flourished, Krishna's pastime appeared Vikari? Wow. That's a good question. That's a good question. So many people became devotees. So many temples opened. Radha Krishna manifested left and right. Nitai Gaur, they manifested left and right. Jagannath Rath Yatra took place in all big cities. Is not Krishna's pastime? Devotees dancing on the streets. And more important, sometimes people say, where is Krishna conscious movement? Sometimes I was thinking, even in Krishna's time, probably we didn't have as many devotees as we have now. Yes. Yes. Devotees are very rare. Even in Krishna's time. Of course, you can say in Braj there are, millions of devotees. But that apart, I'm saying in general, where are devotees? You don't count Braj, Dwaraka, and Mathura. Omit that. Where are devotees those days? Only these 5 Pandav brothers. And if you see their well-wishers like Drupada and very few of them. So I hope somebody is saying something.
Sages.
Anmol.
Lot of sages were there in Dwapar Yuga. Sages were all
So he's
devotees
saying
of
lot
Krishna.
of sages were there, sages.
They are there, holy people are there everywhere. Nowadays also they are living in Vrindavan, Mathura, Vrindavan, Jagannath Puri. Such people are there. They are there in Himalayan Gupas. But in general, they are not there. Krishna's time, they were not there. When Yudhishthira Maharaj became the emperor, then the devotees' population increased. Okay, so whenever devotees like Chiranjit, you are becoming a devotee. That means Krishna is manifesting within our heart. Otherwise, how will you become a devotee? The very fact every day we are reading Bhagavatam Lila. So wherever Bhagavatam is being discussed in Guru Parampara, so Krishna's Lila is manifesting directly. So many ways you can understand. Next. You said that every experience is embedded with some experience. What experience does a person has who knows that he is not body but soul? मैं इसका प्रश्न नहीं समझ पाया. Somebody understood? Ansel Agarwal, can you explain to me?
Sir, some knowledge actually I didn't.
चिरंजीत बोलो, हिंदी में बोलो, नहीं तो बंगाली में बोलो. I have a Bengali person, Dr. Subhendu Samant, he is a Bengali. Bengali में बोलो. Don't feel shy.
স্যার আমি বলছিলাম যে আপনি বলেছিলেন এলজিএলজিতে কি experience is embedded within knowledge. Knowledge experience embedded থাকে. তো এটা নাও ওখানে যদি আমি দেখি যারা জানে কি সোল আর বডি ডিফারেন্ট, তারা কিভাবে মানে বুঝে কি তারা কি এক্সপেরিয়েন্স অনুভব করে আমি জিজ্ঞাসা চাই.
Okay, I understood now. Yeah. He's saying that, is basically saying that somebody who understands his soul, not the body, what experience he would have. That is exactly, he always sees Krishna and his pastimes. When you understand your soul, then you are constantly revealed. Krishna's pastime, Krishna's abode, Krishna's transcendental qualities. Because, as I have told many times, in divinity, you experience only divinity. So those who have experienced divinity, they will always look for that experience. I have given this example. Abhishek Singh, he came to me seeking a master's thesis in British Pilani. And that happened in 96 or 97. I said, if you want to do thesis with me, you have to attend Mangalarti every day. And Mangalarti was 4:50. And he was coming every day because he's realized that if he misses Mangalarti, then means my thesis is gone. And somehow, by the time he finished his thesis, without seeing me also, he fled. Because he was feeling restless. Kya ho raha hai mera sath? And then I think somewhere in Gujarat, he got an job. And but after some time, when he was feeling that, oh, now I'm on my own, then he realized he's missing something. Then he contemplated that experience of Mangala Arati is breaking him now. So within his heart, so this is what soul will search for that which is natural to it. And one day, this is Radhakant Prabhu in Bangalore. He invited me, Bangalore. I went there, and this fellow is sitting there. He said, how did you come? And not only is sitting, he has been initiated by Bhakti Vikas Maharaj also. So then he told a story that Mangala Arati experience pushed him to seek for devotee association and reached Bangalore and joined National Aeronautics Laboratory. Is that clear? Chiranjit? বুঝতে পারি?
Yes, sir. বুঝেছি.
Okay. Thank you. Siddharth Tiwari. Pandavas were true devotees, still they fought war because they were not happy by Kauravas because they practiced adharma. Later we know Lord will always support people following dharma, and he supported Pandavas, and again dharma was established. So in today's world also we are sad experiencing havoc, so Kṛṣna conscious people should only be elected as ministers. But how can we achieve that? Very good question, Siddharth Tiwari. First, we have to inundate the whole world in Sankirtan. There is nothing else. You see, there are temples all over India. But majority of ISKCON temples, people love to go ISKCON temple because there is Sankirtan going on. Wherever there is Sankirtan, there is life. Without Sankirtan, there is no life. So we have to perform massive Sankirtan, massive prasadam distribution. When people will be with us, then they will elect leaders who will be devotees. Finally, who is electing leaders? People. So you cannot say that I will send a devotee to parliament. It is not possible. So only two ways: mass scale prasadam distribution and mass scale Sankirtan. By that way, people will vote only devotees to become parliamentarians. Okay, you are looking opposite, which is not possible. Next. Okay, oh, it's already 9 o'clock. I think we should stop here. Why we are fearful and how we can overcome it. Yeah, fear is there because we have gone through so many lives. Some people, they immediately fear, what you call, fire. You know why? Because in their previous life, they were burnt by fire. There are many studies have been done. Okay. So because we have different life and we have different experience, same mind we are carrying. Mind is same. We have never given up our mind. We only have given up our gross body. So people have different kind of fear based on what different lives they have gone through in their previous life and what kind of fear they have encountered. So this is a very, very subtle things that you have to understand. We will stop here. Thank you very much for asking nice questions. So, Vancha Kalpatarvesha, Krupa Sindhu Vacha. पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। सामवेद भक्त वृंद की जय। श्री श्री लक्ष्मी नरसिंहदेव भगवान की जय। शिला गिरिराज कृष्ण की जय। श्री श्री राधा रमन जो की जय। श्री श्री राधा दामोदर